University Challenge. Asking the questions, Jeremy Paxman.
Hello. The second round continues tonight. Two more teams with one win already under their belts are playing for the third of the 8 places in the quarter-finals and the chance to undergo further torment alongside Jesus College, Oxford and Durham University, who are already through to that stage. Now, we're used to teams looking self-deprecatingly modest when they win a match, but the sheer incredulity on the faces of the team from the Courtauld Institute of Art when they beat the London School of Economics by 145 to 90 points was something to behold, particularly since they failed to identify a painting in their own gallery. They did well, though, on Royal Parks, Pietas and Paganini. With an average age of 21, let's meet the Courtauld team again.
Hi, I'm Ash Silver. I'm from North London and I'm studying for a BA in History of Art.
Hello, my name is Morgan Haig. I'm from Cardiff in Wales and I'm studying for an undergraduate degree in the History of Art.
This is their captain.
Hello, my name's Harry Prance. I'm from Winchcombe in Gloucestershire and I'm studying for a PhD on Middle Byzantine Eucharistic objects.
Hi, I'm Nancy Collins. I'm from Blackpool and I'm studying History of Art.
Now, in their first round match, the team from Glasgow University managed to get 100 points on the board before the University of Lancaster scored anything at all. And they managed to keep ahead by pretty much that margin throughout the contest. At the gong, they had 230 points, the second highest score in the entire first round against their opponents, who could only manage 95. With an average age of 28, let's meet the Glasgow team again.
Hi, I'm Ben Whitcomb. I'm from Northwich in Cheshire and I study history and film and television studies.
Hi, I'm Kat McAllister. I'm from Glasgow and I'm studying for a PhD in physics education.
This is their captain.
Hello, I'm Finlay McRobert. I'm from Aberdeen and I'm studying mathematics.
Hi, I'm Ben Whitworth. I'm from Ashton-under-Lyne in Greater Manchester and I'm studying for a postgraduate diploma in education.
Well, you all know the rules, so fingers on buzzers. Here's your first starter for 10. Popularised by the 1991 book Generations, what word did Neil Howe and William Strauss use to describe people born between about 1980 and 2000, a group also known...
Courtauld College.
Millennial.
Correct. Also known as Generation Y. You get the first set of bonuses. They're on English coastal towns. Each of these names consists of at least 3 hyphenated words. Which town on the southern coast of Cumbria lies adjacent to the village of Cartmel, close to the estuary of the River Kent and overlooking Morecambe Bay?
Grange-over-Sands.
Grange-over-Sands.
Correct. Secondly, which small harbour town in North Norfolk lies just east of the Palladian mansion Hokum Hall?
Kingsley. Pass.
That's Wells next the sea. And finally, which resort town in Somerset is the location of the 19th century Burnbeck Pier?
What's that famous one? It's Clevedon-on-Sea.
Clevedon-on-Sea?
No, it's Weston-super-Mare. 10 points for this. With a name derived from the Greek for glue, which widespread protein has unusually high tensile strength and is associated with connective tissue such as cartilage and tendons?
Courtauld Haig.
Calcium.
No. Anyone like to buzz from Glasgow?
Glasgow McAllister.
Keratin.
No, it's collagen. 10 points for this. The Sainsbury's Centre for Visual Arts in Norwich and the HSB...
Courtauld Prance.
Norman Foster.
Correct. OK, here are your second set of bonuses then, Courtauld. They're on film directors, also noted for their music videos. Name each director from the description. Firstly, the director of the videos for Weezer's Buddy Holly and Fatboy Slim's Weapon of Choice, and the feature films Being John Malkovich and Her.
Spike Jones.
Spike Jones.
Spike Jones is right. Secondly, a director particularly known for collaboration with Bjork, Radiohead and the White Stripes. His feature films include Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and The Science of Sleep.
Michel Gondry.
Michel Gondry.
Correct. And finally, the director of Madonna's Express Yourself and Vogue videos and the feature films Seven and The Social Network.
David Fincher.
Correct. 10 points for this. Protagonists of novels by which English author include Zan Mio, Charles Highway, the lottery winner Lionel Asbo, and John Self, the so-called semi-literate alcoholic who narrates Money.
Courtauld France.
Martin Amis.
Correct. Your bonuses, Courtauld, this time are on Nature's 10, a list published annually by the scientific journal Nature of people who made a significant impact on the world in the preceding year. Firstly, Masayo Takahashi, featured in 2014 for pioneering the treatment of human retinal damage with epithelial cells obtained from the pluripotent type of which undifferentiated cells?
Stem cells?
Correct. Rosie Redfield featured in 2011 for her leading role in refuting a much publicised paper suggesting possible substitution of phosphorus in bacterial DNA by which other element in the same group?
Calcium?
No, it's arsenic. Selina Turchi featured in 2016 for leading the task force that established the link between a sharp rise in microcephaly among newborn babies and a virus most commonly known by what short name?
Mumps?
No, it's Zika, the Zika virus. 10 points for this. Born in about 1722, the Central Asian warlord Ahmad Shah Durrani is often regarded as the founder of which modern-day country? He invaded India 9 times but established no lasting polity there and is buried in a mausoleum in Kandahar.
Glasgow Whitworth.
Afghanistan.
Correct. Your first bonuses, Glasgow, are on Norwegian writers. Firstly, in what language did the 19th century dramatist Henrik Ibsen write his works for the stage?
I think it was it not Danish? Yeah. Danish?
Correct. Secondly, born in Larvik in Norway in 1914, which explorer described his expeditions in works such as Fatu Hiva, Back to Nature, and Kon-Tiki, Across the Pacific by Raft?
Nominate Whitworth.
Heyerdahl.
Tor Heyerdahl is correct. Finally, the Norwegian author Joe Nesbo is predominantly known for his crime novels, many featuring the detective Harry Holer. What surname does he give to the doctor who features in his series of books for children?
No idea. We haven't a Scooby.
It's Dr. Proctor. 10 points for this. Picture round. You're going to see the title of a 20th century English language novel translated into French. For 10 points, give me the title in English.
Courtauld France.
For Whom the Bell Tolls.
Correct. That was one of the English language works included in Le Mans list of the 100 best books of the 20th century. Picture bonuses are the titles in French of 3 other Anglophone works that made it onto this largely French language list. And again, I need the original English titles. Firstly, this non-fiction work.
A Room of One's Own. A Room of One's Own.
Correct, by Virginia Woolf. Secondly, this novel.
The Wind, yeah. Gone with the Wind.
By Margaret Mitchell, that's correct. And finally, another novel.
The Grapes of Wrath.
The Grapes of Wrath by Steinbeck. Well done. 10 points for this. Donplatz, Mayland and Cage 1 to 6 are among the works of which visual artist, born in Dresden in 1932 and noted for his photo-based paintings?
Courtauld France.
Gerhard Richter.
Correct. These bonuses are on muscle groups or pairings, Courtauld. In each case, the answer is a short colloquial term used, for example, by bodybuilders. Firstly, what 4-letter word links the pairing that forms the most powerful muscles of the back and the name of a pre-Euro currency of one of the 3 Baltic states?
Glute.
Let.
No, it's lats. Secondly, what four letters spell both an informal term for chest muscles and, ignoring diacritical marks, the name of a city southwest of Budapest? The latter is the site of an early Christian necropolis.
Pecs.
Pecs is correct. And finally, what colloquial name for muscles of the arm spells a German word meaning up to or until?
Bis.
Correct. 10 points for this. What single-word common name links Dendrocoppos major, Dendrocoppos minor and Picus viridis? They are birds known respectively as greater spotted, lesser spotted.
Glasgow Whitworth.
Woodpecker.
Woodpecker is correct, yes. Right, you get a set of bonuses on the diplomat Algernon Freeman Mitford, the grandfather of the Mitford sisters. Early in his career, Mitford was posted to which island country? Of its political upheavals in the 1860s, he wrote, "All this misery has come simply in order that a few European merchants may be enriched."
Or Jamaica.
Jamaica.
Is it one island or a group?
It's an island nation. Any idea? Sure. Cuba.
No, it's Japan. Mitford later lived in Chelsea, where, according to a biographer, he was present when which US painter, quote, cut some of his own pictures to ribbons in a frenzy of rage.
Sounds reasonable. Whistler.
It was Whistler, yes. Based partly on his experience of creating an arboretum at Batsford in Gloucestershire, in 1896, Mitford published a book devoted to what tree-like grasses of Eastern Asia?
Bamboo.
Bamboo is correct. 10 points for this. Quote, "The silver swan who living had no note, when death approached, unlocked her silent throat." Which English composer and organist?
Glasgow Whitworth.
Gibbons.
Gibbons is correct, yes. Your bonuses are on canals. Francis Egerton, who died in 1803, was the holder of which dukedom? He's perhaps best remembered for the canal he financed to access his coal mines at Worsley in Lancashire.
Sure. Why not?
Nominate Whitworth.
Rutland.
No, he was the Duke of Bridgewater, the third Duke thereof. Employed by Egerton to work on the Bridgewater Canal, who was the preeminent British canal designer of the 18th century? His other commissions include the Birmingham and Oxford canals.
No idea.
Any canal knowledge? Any canal knowledge at all?
No.
Sorry. Okay, we don't know.
That was James Brindley. Brindley's Grand Trunk Canal was designed with the aim of connecting which two major rivers of northern and central England?
Medway, Thames, any other?
Further north.
Further north, okay.
The Trent and the Humber.
Yeah,
Sure.
okay.
The Trent and Humber.
No, it's the Trent and the Mersey. Bad luck. Right, 10 points for this. It's a music round. For your music starter, you'll hear a piece of popular music. 10 points if you can name the solo artist performing.
Courtauld Silver.
Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar is correct, yes. That was Swimming Pools from Lamar's album Good Kid, M.A.A.D. City, which is an example of the recent resurgence in popularity of the concept album. Your music bonuses are 3 more concept albums of the 2010s. Again, all I need is the name of the solo artist in each case. Firstly...
Blue dream by the bouquet till I'm blue face on a Tuesday.
Can I have some? Hashtag be like. Put a plus 18 on an e-bike. And I said what I felt, no rewrite. Nah, they can't hold me. June, July, drop something. I double dare you. I mark summers. I scorch winters. I burn autumns. Gut, so curved.
Earl Sweatshirt?
No, that's Childish Gambino. Secondly...
You keep on asking me the same questions.
Janelle Monáe?
Correct. And finally...
Overflowing plant pots, French posts, decorated door numbers, motorbike when you...
Kate Tempest.
It is Kate Tempest, yes. Right, 10 points for this. What surname links a multiple winner of the green jersey in the Tour de France since 2010? The author of the novels assert...
Glasgow Whitworth.
Cavendish. Oh! Sorry. Is it Cavendish?
Well, no, it isn't Cavendish. And you're going to lose 5 points as well, I'm afraid. the author of the novels A Certain Smile and Bonjour Tristesse, and the presenter of the 1980 documentary series Cosmos.
Courtauld, France.
Sagan.
Sagan, S-A-G-A-N, correct, pronounced various ways. Right, these bonuses are on works in the collection of the Brera Art Gallery in Milan. Who painted The Dead Christ, a work of about 1480? It's noted for the foreshortening of the subject's body and places the feet in the foreground and highlights the wounds.
It's either Holbein the Younger or it's Mantegna, but it's 1480. So
Holbein the Younger. I think.
Holbein the Younger.
No, that's Mantegna. Secondly, inspired by a work of his teacher Perugino, the small altarpiece of 1504 entitled Marriage of the Virgin is an early work by which Italian artist?
Raphael. Raphael was Perugino. Yeah, that sounds right.
Raphael.
Correct. The Brera is home to which artist's second painting of the Supper at Emmaus, with the earlier version of 1601 being in London's National Gallery?
Caravaggio.
Correct. Right, another sub-question. Which human tissue is the major site of hematopoietic stem cells, which instigate the production of blood cells?
Glasgow, Macrobert.
The bone marrow.
Correct. Right, you get a set of bonuses on animals of the weasel family. Mustela putorius is the common or European species of which weasel-like mammal characterised by a distinctively unpleasant odour?
Skunk.
No, it's the polecat. Mustela lutriola is the European species of which mammal? In many regions, it has been displaced by the related American species, noted for its luxuriant fur.
Really? Okay. Otter.
No, it's the mink. What is the common five-letter English name of Mustela erminia?
5 letter. Yeah. Otter.
No, that's a stoat. Right, 10 points for this. Meanings of what six-letter word include to provoke or annoy someone, a pointed rock or peak, an obelisk, a gramophone stylus, and the leaf of a fir or pine tree?
Glasgow, McAllister.
Needle.
Needle is correct, yes. These bonuses are on Shakespeare and love. In each case, identify the play in which the following words appear. Firstly, love sought is good, but given unsought is better.
Is it Midsummer Night's Dream?
Yes.
Okay. Midsummer Night's Dream.
No, that's Olivia in Twelfth Night. Secondly, I know no ways to mince it in love, but directly to say, I love you.
Much Ado About Nothing.
No, that's in Henry V. And finally, the course of true love never did run smooth.
Okay. Midsummer Night's Dream.
That is a Midsummer Night's Dream, yes. 10 points for this. What surname links all of the following? The author of the dark thrillers In the Miso Soup and Audition, the founder of the Kai Kai Ki Ki Company and the Superflat Art Movement, and the novelist who wrote the Wind-Up Bird Chronicle.
Courtauld, France.
Murakami.
Correct. You get a set of bonuses on astronomy, Courtauld. Which meteor shower originates in debris from the comet Tempel-Tuttle? It peaks in November and grows to a spectacular meteor storm roughly every 33 years.
The Perseids?
No, it's the Leonids. Peaking in October, which shower is generated by Halley's Comet? Like the Leonids, it is known for its bright, high-velocity meteors.
Any other idea?
I've no idea.
The Perseids?
No, that's the Orionids. And finally, which shower is caused by the debris trail of Comet Swift-Tuttle? It peaks in August with up to 100 meteors visible per hour.
You know, I'm thinking Perseids.
Perseids.
It is the Perseids. Right, 10 points for this. A cairn at Swarkstone Bridge over the River Trent marks the southernmost point on the island of Great Britain, reached by the army of which royal figure?
Glasgow, Whitworth.
Bonnie Prince Charlie.
Correct. These bonuses are on cheese dishes from various European countries. In each case, I want you to name the dish from the description. Firstly, a Greek dish of phyllo pastry with a stuffing of spinach and cheese, usually feta. The name means spinach pie.
Spanakopita.
Correct. Secondly, a dish of mashed potatoes and cheese from south-central France. The first 4 letters of its name spell a satirical character created by Sacha Baron Cohen.
The first 4 letters.
Ali G, Alig something. Alig something. What? Allegretta or something?
Sure.
Allegretta.
No, it's aligot. And finally, a salad of mozzarella, tomatoes and basil named after an island in the Bay of Naples.
That's it's a Carpesi or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it is. I think it's something like that.
Okay.
Caprese.
Yep. Okay. Nominate McAllister.
Caprese?
Caprese is correct after Capri, yes. Right, we're going to take another picture round for your picture starter. You're going to see a self-portrait. For 10 points, I want you to name the artist.
Glasgow Whitworth.
Freud.
It is Lucian Freud, yes. Painful working reflection. Following on from that self-portrait by Freud, your picture bonuses are 3 more nude self-portraits, 5 points for each artist you can identify. Firstly, this photographic self-portrait from 1996.
Tracy Emin.
It is Tracy Emin. That's part of a series called Life Model Goes Mad. Secondly, a work of 1992.
You any idea?
Just go.
Miller.
Specifically? No, it's Benny Saville. I was just interested. Finally, a work of 1910.
Yeah, sounds okay. That seems reasonable. Egon Schiele.
Correct. 10 points for this. Answers promptly. If the focal length of a telescope's objective lens is 5 metres, what eyepiece focal length in millimetres is needed to achieve a magnification of 200?
Courtauld, France.
10.
Anyone like to buzz from Glasgow? You can work it out if you like.
Glasgow McAllister.
40?
No, it's 25 millimetres. 10 points for this. Which US author revised and republished William Strunk Jr.'s writing manual, The Elements of Style? His books for children include The Trumpet of the Swan and Charlotte's Web.
Courtauld, France.
White.
It is. Do you remember his initials?
GB.
No, it's EB. You've got it, though. I'll accept that. Fine. Your bonuses are on words that begin with the same 4 letters. In each case, give the word from the definition. Firstly, a Sanskrit term meaning instrument of thought, denoting a word or sound repeated to aid concentration when meditating.
Mantra.
Correct. Secondly, a lace or silk scarf worn by Spanish women over the hair and shoulders.
Mantle. Mantilla. Tila. What? Mantilla.
I had to accept the first answer you give, and you said mantle. It is mantilla. You're right there. You got there in the end, but I had to take the first thing you give. And finally, the part of a logarithm after the decimal point.
Mangle. Yeah. Mangle.
No, it's the mantissa. 4 minutes to go, 10 points for this. Named after a meeting of the Holy Alliance powers in 1821, Congress Square is a city park in which present-day capital? It was then the...
Courtauld, France.
Vienna.
No, you lose 5 points. It was then the capital of the Austrian province of Carniola. I'll tell you that's...
Glasgow Whitcomb.
Budapest.
No, it's in Ljubljana, the capital of Slovenia. Right, so 10 points for this. Subject to competing claims of sovereignty by several countries, the Paracel and Spratly Islands lie in which marginal sea of the Pacific Ocean?
Glasgow McRobert.
The Caribbean.
The Caribbean?
Courtauld, France.
The Red Sea.
The Red Sea, that's nowhere near the Pacific either. It's the South China Sea. Right, 10 points for this. On a chronological list of US presidents, who occupies the same position as Henry Pelham on a list of British prime ministers, or U Thunt on a list of secretaries general of the United Nations?
Courtauld Haig.
John Adams.
Anyone want to buzz from Glasgow?
Glasgow Whitcomb.
Lincoln.
No, it's Thomas Jefferson, the third on the list. 10 points for this. What five-letter word links the first floor of a Palladian building, the designer of the Shard in London, and it...
Courtauld Haig.
Piano.
Piano is correct, or piano. Right, these bonuses are on the Nobel laureate V.S. Naipaul. Which present-day Commonwealth country was Naipaul's birthplace in 1932?
Trinidad.
Correct. Books subtitled A Million Mutinies Now and A Wounded Civilization are studies by V.S. Naipaul of which country?
Haiti?
No, it's India. Patrick French's biography of V.S. Naipaul, The World Is What It Is, takes its title from the opening line of which of Naipaul's novels, first published in 1979?
A House for Mr. Biswas?
No, it's A Bend in the River. 10 points for this. The Marco Polo Bridge incident of 1936...
Glasgow Whitcomb.
Second Sino-Japanese War.
That is correct. Glasgow, these bonuses are on aspects of culture that have been given intangible cultural heritage status by UNESCO. In each case, name the country that is home to each practice. Firstly, classical horsemanship and the High School of the Spanish Riding School.
Austria.
Correct. Second, the Wine Growers Festival of Vevey.
France.
No, that's Switzerland. Finally, a festive combination of music and dances and all the practices associated with rumba.
And Cuba, I guess, yeah. Cuba.
Cuba's correct. 10 points for this. Which SI-derived unit of radioactivity has the same dimensions as the SI unit of frequency?
Glasgow McAllister.
Becquerel.
Becquerel is correct, yes. Your bonuses are on words that contain 3 consecutive letters of the alphabet. For example, the F, G and H of Afghanistan. In each case, give the name from the description. Firstly, in Greek mythology, the father of Iphigenia and Orestes.
Pass.
That's Agamemnon. Secondly, a Pacific island nation. Its capital is Funafuti.
Nominate McAllister.
Tuvalu.
Tuvalu is correct, yes. Well, despite getting that last question right, Glasgow, I'm afraid we're going to have to say goodbye to you. Thank you very much for joining us, though. Courtauld, congratulations. Who'd have thought that a life devoted to watching pop videos and the like would have been so fruitful? We shall look forward to seeing you in the quarterfinals. I hope you can join us next time for another second-round match. But until then, it's goodbye from Glasgow University.
Bye. Goodbye.
It's goodbye from the Courtauld Institute of Art.
Bye.
And it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.